Yo, how's it going everybody? It's me, Arctic. Today's video, we're going to be going over a complete weapons guide for Arataki Itto. Now this is actually also going to include his best in slot weapon that just got leaked today. So we're going to be talking about that and also some of the other good weapons that are going to be best in slot for Arataki Itto. Covering the weapons, basically reading off what each of the weapons does, and also basically kind of explain why they are good on Arataki Itto. If you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. It really helps me out a lot. We are definitely going to be making tons of Arataki Itto videos and giving you guys either the best information that we currently have access to at the moment. But anyway, let's get back to the video. So when choosing a weapon for Arataki Itto, we have to keep in mind a few things. One of them being that he does scale with crit chance. So basically, if you have a crit rate weapon on him, you're going to have a substantial amount of crit rate, and you wouldn't really need to go any more crit rate in your like artifacts versus like a hat or something like that. I would generally recommend just sticking to his normal crit chance and going with artifact sub rolls, and basically that's also what we have to keep in mind on that. Also keep in mind that his burst does give him an attack bonus multiplier, and then also keep in mind that his normal attacks are where most of his damage is going to be coming from, because most of his damage comes from his actual special charge attacks right here that are going to do a large amount of slashes damage. And okay, in terms of weapon options that we have for him, I'm going to start with the 4 stars and go up to the 5 stars like I usually do, and then yo, this just in, apparently this is actually the Claymore for Itto, the Redhorn Stonethresher Claymore. Now this is a 5-star rarity, and it has a base attack of 608 at level 90. Its secondary stat is crit damage, and that goes up to 66%. And its passive special ability right here, defense is increased by 20% at R1 and 40% at R5. The normal and charge attack damage is going to be increased by 28% of defense. And so it is a red sword. I can't really show it here because otherwise I'll get striked. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. Definitely it would look really cool with Itto. And I think it is definitely going to be his best in slot, considering that he definitely relies a lot on his defense. Blackcliff Slasher is a pretty good option as a second runner-up if you are a free-to-play option. And basically, this one is the only Claymore currently in the game that gives you crit damage, and it goes up to 55%. And also its passive gives you a 12% attack percent increase after defeating an enemy. Since he is basically a main DPS, you're going to be able to gain all these stacks relatively easy and give yourself a large amount of damage. I would definitely recommend this as one of his best free-to-play options for his weapon choice. Starting off the game, Prototype Archaic is a possibly good option. However, the White Blind is the option that I think works a little bit better. The White Blind basically has defense as its main stat. It goes up to 51% defense. And on hit, normal charge attacks give you an attack and also defense increase up to a maximum of 4 stacks. And now the reason why this is better than the Prototype Archaic for Itto is because he does gain some extra attack based off of his defense, and it factors into his overall kit quite a bit. And this weapon overall will be better in your basically forging weapons. Serpent Spine is a good option if you do have this at higher refinements. However, at lower refinements, it's not necessarily as beneficial, and I would definitely stray away from it just for the fact that it has a crit rate bonus. However, you would be able to get up to like 50% crit rate very, very easily if you are using this and also Arataki Itto's Ascension passives. Basically, this one gives you a damage bonus based on staying on the field, and it also works like off the field. Basically, it's a very good weapon. You're going to get up to 50% damage bonus actually if you have this at R5, but at R1 it's going to give you 25% damage bonus. So not a bad weapon to use at all. Skyward Pride could be a decent option for him, considering that his elemental burst is an 80 energy cost, so energy recharge is definitely going to give you a lot more uptime on this. It does have a high base attack of 674. And its passive increases all of your damage by 8%, and after using your elemental burst, your normal charge attacks on hit will create vacuum blades that will deal 80% of attack as damage to opponents along its path. So basically, this is going to give you a large amount of DPS and also uptime on your ultimate, which is a very good thing to have with Itto. The main rivalry is going to be between Wolf's Gravestone and another weapon. Now, Wolf's Gravestone, what it does is give you 20% attack, and on hit you have a chance to get this extra 40% attack bonus if the enemy is below 30% HP. Now this does have a good base attack and a lot of attack percent. This one is going to be a little bit more consistent. Now you do have to run a shielding support character for Itto since he doesn't shield himself, but basically you increase your shield strength by 20%. And when you're hitting opponents, you're going to be gaining 4% attack for 8 seconds. You get a maximum of 5 stacks of this. And if you're shielded, you get an extra 50%. It basically increases this by 100% of that bonus. So for me, for example, I have an R2 of this. So if I have max 5 stacks of this, I'm going to be gaining 25% damage, attack percent from this. But if I'm actually shielded, I will be gaining 50% attack from this, which ends up being about as much as like a Wolf's Gravestone with its ability proc. However, this is more consistent because it basically can stay active for as long as you're like shielded. In terms of the weapons that I think are going to be the best for Arataki Itto, I definitely think that Wolf's Gravestone and the Unforged are probably his 2 best 5-star options, with Skyward Pride being a viable option as well, surprisingly. And then for his 4-star option, Serpent Spine, Blackcliff Slasher, White Blind are going to be his best 4-star options. But I will also be doing a weapons tier list in the future, and that's pretty much what we're going to be talking about later on. In terms of things to keep in mind when actually balancing out your builds with this character, is that once again, you don't want to have too much crit rate, you don't want to have like too much defense or something like that. You want to basically balance out your crit stats, since Arataki Itto definitely does want to crit with his crit rate ascension. But that's basically it for the video. Let me know if you guys enjoyed the video down below. And anyway, it's been me, Arctic. I'll see you guys next time. Farewell.